Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Yang Muhammad, Puan Anfalsari, selaku State Women's Development and Social Welfare Expo, Yang berbahagia Datuk Nur Halim Yunus, Chairman of Futurise Yang Berhad, Yang berusaha Encik Rashidi Yahya, Chairman of Kendana and Chief Executive Officer of Superior Group, esteemed panelists, dedicated teams from Futurise and Kendana, and valued guests. It is my greatest pleasure to welcome you all to today's RegTalk session, where we will be discussing on the future of care, bridging technology, regulation, and compassion in Malaysia. My name is Khairunisa, and I will be your MC for today. This event is a remarkable collaboration between Futurise and Kendana. So let us give a round of applause for both Futurise and Kendana. Through this collaboration, we have brought a diverse spectrum of thought leaders, experts, and innovators to explore how we can balance rapid technological advancements with the timeless values of care and compassion. RegTalk, or Regulatory Talk, is a first step to identify potential regulatory issues within the National Regulatory Sandbox Framework. This engaging and collaborative event aims to deepen our understanding of the evolving business and regulatory landscape as innovative products and services enter the market. I believe that we are all here to listen to the insights of a crucial topic because it brings together multiple perspectives, technological innovation, regulatory frameworks, and human compassion. To kick off the event, I would like to invite Yang berbahagia Datuk Nur Halim Yunus, Chairman of Futurise, for his welcoming remarks. Please stand up.
Thank you very much. Yang Muhammad, Ibu Anfal, selamat datang ke program kita berbagi. First time berjumpa dari Yahya lebih. InsyaAllah for long time. Encik Rashidi kata selalu jumpa saya sewaktu saya bertugas dulu masa saya berhenti. Tapi saya one of the silver leaf itu silver leaf monkey, silver economy member. So mungkin ingatan agak kuat. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attendance to this event. The topic is about technology and regulation, and I think the hotel also nampak funky juga. Kenalah dengan topik teknologi. So just a short introduction to Futurise, because we do a few things. One of the things we do is technology sandboxing, and obviously when you do technology sandboxing, sometimes it will be together with regulatory review and updates. On the other hand, there are sectors of industry which are self-evident. You need to do sandbox. For example, drones. It's new, and there was no technology like that before, and there was no regulation for it as well. So that's self-evident. But there are also segments of technologies which are not so intuitive. For example, in this particular topic today, we are talking about the RegTalk on the future of care. My personal view is that when we talk about economy, silver economy is actually a very big segment of the economy. Obviously, today we are talking about care. I mentioned before we entered the room just now to the YB and Rashidi that the silver economy is not only about care, because not everybody is, maybe not everybody needs care. At certain point, at the early stage of the economy, there are silver economy stages. So maybe rather than care, it will also include wellness. So in this case, while today we are going to talk more about the regulatory aspect, regulatory talk, as it says, but I think the discussion probably can be widened because when we talk about care, we also need to talk about technology. And when we talk about technology, there are technologies being developed every day. I mean, the simplest example is that maybe 50 years ago, if you are bedridden or you can't walk, you need somebody to push your wheelchair. Nowadays there's electronic wheelchair. So that's development of technology. Now obviously with the development of technology, you will need to update the regulatory aspect of the things that you are utilizing in this particular sector. So yesterday, Futurise with the Minister of Digital Ministry, they launched a few updates on the act, and Futurise assisted the ministry to update these acts with regard to the PDA, right? So in this particular instance, I think while we should talk about what we can do with regard to the regulatory aspects of care, because I think as the nation or the population ages, the need for care providers to be updated, to be familiar with technologies, and to be trained in technologies as well as in other aspects of caring. We also need to consider what are the technologies being developed. During my service at ETDC many years ago, actually I retired 2 years ago, we had actually assisted a lot of companies, startups, developing simple technologies for use in daily life. And this is what I think is one of the things that we can also explore, because when we talk about the silver economy and the late stage of the silver economy, people like maybe in the 70s, 80s, you don't really need high-tech things. What you need is simple techs. Simple that can be used and easily used and easily provided and supplied to either the person themselves or the institution taking care of this elderly patient. Right? So once again, I would like to say thank you to me for graciously agreeing to come and appreciate our event. Thank you very much for your time. We hope we can work together moving forward. Futurise, I think, has a small but very energetic team, always willing to work together and see what we can do. And thank you very much to Rashidi for also supporting this event. And thank you to all of you for being here today, and I hope that we can have a very good session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ibu Banya. Can we give another round of applause, please? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to invite our keynote speaker, the Selangor State Exco for Women's Development and Social Welfare, Yang Muhammad Puan Anfasa Ari. Please join me onto the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all. Yang bahagia Datuk Nur Khalid Yunus, Chairman of Futurise Neighbourhood, Mr. Cik Rashidi Yahya, Chairman of Kendana Council, distinguished panelists, dedicated Futurise and Kendana staff, and our esteemed guests. It is my greatest pleasure to welcome you all to this RegTalk, and thank you for taking the time to join today's RegTalk program, which addresses the critical topic, the future of care, bridging technology, regulation, and compassion in Malaysia. First and foremost, I would like to extend my gratitude to Futurise and Kendana for organizing this program, and as part of the National Regulatory Sandbox and NRS initiative, this event reflects our commitment to accelerating regulatory improvements, fostering innovation, and supporting efforts to empower our communities. Esteemed guests, in this era of the fourth industrial revolution, with the rise of the Internet of Things, our lives have changed in ways of our grandparents could never have imagined. Technology is opening new frontiers for the care sector in today's digital age. Wearable devices for health monitoring, telemedicine for convenient medical consultations, and smart sensors for elderly safety at home are just some of the innovations gaining traction. Like Dr. Rahal mentioned just now, a simple technology is what needed by the elderly. However, at the heart of the care sector lies an empathy-driven approach, which reminds us that human lives remain central. No matter how sophisticated our technology becomes, human values and compassion must guide us. We must remain sensitive to the physical, emotional, and psychological needs of care recipients, and ultimately, the best care addresses spiritual, social, and environmental factors that contribute to safety and comfort. Innovations in care technology must be based on human-centered design, enhancing the lives of caregivers and care recipients without compromising their privacy or dignity. For example, while in-home sensors or cameras may improve elderly safety, we must be also mindful of personal space and privacy. Instead of using cameras to monitor elderly individuals in their rooms, we might consider using infrared fall detection systems and other forms of sensors that protect their privacy. Clearly defined regulations and laws are essential to safeguarding personal data, privacy, and individual rights without stifling innovation. Another important consideration is the accessibility of these technologies across our communities, not just in urban settings, but also in rural areas, and not just for the wealthy, but for those from all economic backgrounds. Stable internet access, proper training for caregivers and recipients, and financial support for those in need are all critical areas that demand our attention. In short, technological innovation must be inclusive, bridging the digital divide while upholding the dignity and privacy of care recipients. Kita Selangor must always maju bersama, ensuring no one is left behind. Caring for the elderly is far from a trivial task. Many caregivers, especially those looking after their own parent, often juggle work and personal responsibilities, sacrificing significant time and energy. We must ensure that these caregivers are not overwhelmed both physically and mentally. Ladies and gentlemen, Selangor, as the first state in Malaysia to have a dedicated policy on the care economy, the Selangor Care Economy Policy 2024-2030 is fully committed to transforming the care sector in Selangor as a pilot program for Malaysia. One of the tenets of this policy is shared responsibility between men and women within the family, between families and communities, and between the government and the private sector. Collaboration between the government, industry, and community is vital to establishing a sustainable, holistic, and resilient care ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, today's RegTalk is an exemplary platform for collaboration where we refine ideas, share best practices, and shape future initiatives. I believe this event will help us identify potential regulatory challenges, propose innovative solutions, and strengthen our collaborative network across diverse stakeholders. I am confident that through strong policies, inclusive technological innovations, and a compassionate approach, we can create a truly sustainable and responsive care ecosystem in Malaysia, particularly in the state of Selangor. Once again, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to Futurise and Kendana for organizing this pioneering program. I also express my deepest appreciation to all the panelists and participants for dedicating your time to sharing your expertise and experiences. With that, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I am pleased to officially launch RegTalk, the future of care, bridging technology, regulation, and compassion in Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you once again, YB. Can we give another round of applause, please? Once again, YB, I want to invite you onto the stage. With that, I would also like to invite Ibu Mahdi Dato to present a token of appreciation to YB. Please go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause. once again, Mohd. In a time where rapid technological advancements are reshaping our society, her unwavering commitment to integrating compassionate governance with innovative policies is more crucial than ever. By addressing the challenges and opportunities that lie at the intersection of technology regulation and human care, her insights will illuminate how we can build a future that is both progressive and deeply rooted in empathy. And I believe, Vivi, you have to leave as you need to take care of other matters. And with that, we will have a break before we start our official RegTalk session. Thank you very much. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a good break. So now the event that we have been waiting for, I would like to introduce our esteemed panelists for today that will be discussing the future of care. I would like to begin by introducing our moderator that will be leading today's insightful discussion. He is a transformative leader with over 30 years of experience in legal advisory, aged care, and Waqaf-based property development. He has pioneered Islamic-centric elderly care models, senior living communities, and sustainable retirement ecosystems aligned with Malaysia's long-term vision for an aging population, establishing himself as a trusted authority in policy advisory, Waqaf land development, and aged care investment strategies. Please welcome the moderator, Chairman of Kendana, Malaysia, Mr. Rashidi Yahya. Our first panelist serves as the Deputy Director of the Malaysian Research Institute of Aging, or known as MyAging, at University Putra Malaysia, and a research associate at UKM's Institute of Nanoscience and Nanotechnology. Specializing in biomedical nanoelectronics engineering, he aims to enhance healthcare for aging populations, recognized with awards such as the Anugerah Perkhidmatan Cemerlang and the Professor Lim Prize. His contributions to ground technology are truly inspiring. Please join me in welcoming TS Dr. Nazim Mohtar. Our second speaker is a trailblazer in senior empowerment and digital literacy. She is the founder of Seniors Aloud, a pioneering platform dedicated to educating, advocating for, and engaging older adults in meaningful social and technological activities. With a strong background in education and communication, she actively champions lifelong learning and social inclusion for seniors. Let us welcome Ms. Lily Fu. Our third speaker is the CEO and co-founder of Command Malaysia. She leads a social enterprise dedicated to providing quality, safe, and personalized care companion services that enhance the lives of senior citizens and individuals with disabilities. Under her visionary leadership, Command Malaysia empowers seniors to maintain their independence, reducing the reliance on full-time maids or the need to relocate to senior homes. Please welcome Ms. Ezzati Nasir. And our final speaker is a dedicated caregiver and social media influencer known for his compassionate commitment to his family and the community. In 2022, he made the profound decision to leave his 8-year career in the communication sector to provide full-time care for his mother. He immersed himself in self-education, mastering essential medical procedures, where he created a daily routine and checklist for comprehensive care from medication to physiotherapy, while emphasizing the importance of caregiver self-care to prevent burnout. Let us give a hand for Mr. Alif Rosehaizad. Without further ado, the floor is yours, Ms. Rashidi.
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First and foremost, very good morning to everyone of you, to the Futurise team who has worked tirelessly and effortlessly behind the scene to make this event to come to fruition. Also to my other team who has also worked very hard to ensure that we are here today. That's a nice crowd actually. Let me set the tone a little bit. I'm going to make it informal a little bit, right? It's going to be a session where it should be engaging, you guys should be asking questions, and so forth. Yes, I will be moving around, passing the mic to our speakers. And most of them, you'll be inspired to know they have done a lot in terms of care, and even introducing technology to care. But our discussion today centers around why Futurise is involved is because there is regulatory issues which concerns about not only the elderly, but also the technology that we are going to introduce. So the title of our topic today, discussion the future of care, bridging technology, regulation and compassion in Malaysia. So this is not a headline, it's a call to action, really a cry for those who believe our elders deserve the best of our innovation and the warmth of our hearts, essentially. When we talk about future of care, I think the first thing that comes to my mind are our android robots that looks like us, speaks like us. We new AI, ChatGPT version 10.0 running in the background and taking care of me and you or even our elders. That's the first thing that I want to talk about future. Honestly, we are far from that at this point of time, but at the end of the day, when we talk about care, it's still human-centric. The touch, the warmth, the love, the compassion that comes with it. So this is, again, balancing what we know about care and technology. Now, if we look at purely technology, I still am dumbfounded. There's no app out there that can settle this issue between nasi lemak burung hantu and village park nasi lemak, which is the better. Show me an app. Let's say burung hantu nasi lemak is the best, or village park. And to our friends who just came from Singapore, you guys need to go and check it out. Both. But to save your time, I'll answer that question a little bit more. I'll just answer it now. If you go to village park, this is world famous nasi lemak. Now everybody comes there and eats nasi lemak. The chicken is why people with the fried chicken, right? The sambal, but you go to burung hantu, it's because of the sambal. The chicken, so that's my take on it. So I'm not here just to ask questions. Essentially, I would love to have to spark a meaningful conversation. What I would love is for all of you to be part of this conversation. I believe this is recorded, and Futurise are taking notes. So your input also is important. So this is going to be a two-way thing. It's going to be a two-way thing. So ultimately, it is just not another event, and we hope that with this session today and with our collaboration with Futurise, we can take this to the next level. So, with me, I would say a balanced panelist. We've been a lot in this kind of event before. We have from academia, Associate Professor Dr. Nazim, congrats for being conferred Associate Professorship just yesterday. I've known Dr. Nazim throughout the past years. We have conferred and seminars together. Also Lily Fu, amazing lady. Her movement, Serious Aloud, is something that I think it's a fantastic movement by itself. You will hear that from her. Ezzati, who I've known from when she first started her Teman Malaysia 4 or 5 years back, and she's a star during COVID. Her organization touches and solves a lot of problems. When the children are in KL, and they look at her, hey, somebody needs to look after my mom, she's at home, can you guys help her? And her organization saw that, she had that movement and so forth. And I just got to know about Alif a bit. I read his biodata, and I'm astounded at the fact that this young man, made a choice, like to expand care above and beyond himself. So that's what motivated. Okay, so let's start with easy question first. I'll start with Dr. Nazim. Essentially, I just wanted to share your insights about that. When you talk about gerontology, right? Maybe you want to define that also. Can it transform not only clinical aspect of care, but also the everyday lives of the adults?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Kendana. Thank you, Futurise, for having my aging University from Malaysia here to talk about these very important topics. I've been in many forums, conference, especially forums, but this time there is no early question. I didn't know the question beforehand. So I asked Rashidi, where is the question? So Rashidi said he just laid back talk and just talk your mind. Okay, fine. Right. I believe the question is about geron technology. Yeah, geron technology. But when we talk about technology and especially we are talking about the future of care, we cannot run away from demography. So we need to look into the demography, the proportion of our society in order to implement or to ensure adoption of technology or why not. I have a simple experiment I want to do today. Right. Let's listen to this sound. Right, some of you are laughing. I can see some are very, they do not know what is that. Right. Yesterday, I asked my research associate, research assistant actually. She was born in 1999, and she said this is the sound of broken radio. And then I asked my 13-year-old son. So he said in TikToks, it means that somebody is thinking, loading. So I can conclude there are three categories of three groups of people. One, which is do not know what is the sound. Second one is associated to another thing. And the third one is the one that really know. Can I see? Do you know what is it? Alright. So why I bring this up? Because in 2040, the Gen Z will overcome the population of baby boomers, right? In 2040, not that far away, yeah. So and it's actually skipped 2 generations. So at first I thought, why this important? Because we know in 2040 the users of geron technology will be Gen Z, and they really want. I mean, since born they already use the technology, so they will need to have all the technologies in assisting their life, even when they are 60s, right? By the way, the sound is dial-up for internet. Right. So defining general technology. So general technology is any development or implementing technology to assist elderly, not only for accessible devices, include telemedicine, smart home, everything, and also include AI implementation for technologies. Right. So do you answer the questions?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nazim. As usual, from academia, he needs to do some research among us. Yeah, and I was quite astounded because I was the first to laugh and I was looking at the crowd. Some of you are confused. It's okay, I don't blame you. But exactly that's where we want to start this discussion. We are aging. We are an aging nation. 7% of our population currently are above 65 years old. But this is an interesting number. I just realized that by 2040, Gen Z will be more predominantly, overtake the baby boomers. The only baby boomers that I know or I associate with will be Bill Clinton and oh, sorry. I'm not trying to put thank you, Lily. And Lily, but that's my association with baby boomers if I'm referring to in that sense. But not Monica Lewinsky. She's not baby boomers. So which brings me to the next question, Lily, since we have been starting on that setting. Senior Aloud is a fantastic initiative. Right? What role do you see digital literacy playing in empowering our elderly to adapt to technological advancements in care?
Hi, I'm Lily. Just a bit of background. I got my postgrad studies in applied gerontology in Singapore, and because I understand there's a group of Singapore students here at Nanyang Technological University, pioneer batch, because at that time your university didn't have this yet. Okay, right. So coming from that, I think in the room today I can see two bookends. I say bookends because Alif represent one, and I represent the other bookend. Right? I'm 77, and you are? He's 30, so I guess right there.
You are looking good for
Thank you. So, as you know by now, I run a community, a grassroots. It's not a registered NGO. It just started as 6 of us way back 17 years ago. Right? And it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. So today we have thousands of members. I think we're the largest. But what I'm here today is that, you know how I always tell the government, the ministers and all that, I said, everybody ages. All of us here age every day, right? And yet the ministers, come on, you guys up there, you have got parents, you've got grandparents. How come you're dragging your feet? We have already heard about the seniors health bill being passed, Not yet passed, actually. Right? It's still supposed to be a rep in Parliament, but they keep on postponing. And I keep on saying that, we are senior citizens. Time is not on our side. How long are you going to take? 10 years? 15? Don't know. Hopefully something will come out of this, and it will move faster. Right? And the reason why I would like to talk a little bit about our place in the digital economy is that we cannot escape. We are surrounded by technology more and more increasingly every day. Like tomorrow, for instance, we are having some kind company is going to teach us seniors how to use AI, for example, to generate a travel blog so that we can share our stories, our photos, and at the same time earn some money. If we can get a lot of people coming to our blog. So this is just one example. And the more every day there's new things coming up, and I always tell the senior citizens, come on, don't be dinosaurs, right? Don't be, because in this age, time does not wait for you to learn things. You have to buck up, shape up, because otherwise, the keywords, these two keywords, I always tell my members, right? Be flexible, adopt adapt. Dinosaurs die out because they didn't adapt, didn't adopt with their size, you know. So same with us. And I think we, as senior citizens, we have a lot to contribute, a lot. So I will go into that a bit later.
Yeah. Do check out her, I think her Facebook, right? Yes. Really, you have a Facebook, right?
Yes, I have Facebook.
Yeah, do check out their Facebook.
IG,
Yeah, and do join their activities. You know, I highly recommend, among others. So Ezzati, the start of COVID, as far as I'm concerned, in Malaysia was Teman Malaysia. Let me put it that way. Most of us were stuck in Kuala Lumpur with our parents back home, you know, in the kampung, in the rural areas. And I don't know how she came up with this idea of having this Teman companion. So my question to Ezzati is, Teman Malaysia's model focuses on personalized care and companionship. How do you see technology enhancing the quality of companionship services?
Right, thank you, Rashidi. That's very nice of you. So actually, Teman started when it really kickstart our journey when the vaccination program is rolled out. So at that time, the elderly were the first group of the community that has to be vaccinated in order for the other age group to get their vaccination. So that's how Teman is able to expand from only within the Klang Valley, where we are able to have Temanins all around Peninsula. We're not able to go to Sabah Sarawak yet. And with my team of only 5 people at that time, we're able to do so. So we are very, very grateful for that. So when we talk about technology, yes, we would talk about, we would think of robots and everything AI, we would have Siri, voice and all that, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to jump that far, it doesn't necessarily have to do things that advanced. Simple things as asking our parents to switch on their location so that we know where they are, we know how they're doing, to teach them how to use a simple video call. That is a good enough technology introduction to them. And as for us as a service provider, a simple thing as having a monitoring device at home for elderly who has like maybe hearing impairments, they cannot hear very well, we can give them some sort of the device where they can hear us more clearly. We just have to put the phone nearer to our mouth. When we say something, it will amplify the sound. So that is also a use of technology to help elderly. Because what I can see now is that although our care companions, which we call Temanians, our Temanians, even though the age difference is not that much from the elderly, the technology ability to really have a conversation together is really huge. So when elderly felt that way, they tend to seclude themselves from other people. We can see all those, our grandparents, our elderly parents, they have done a lot in their life. But because they cannot connect with other people, with younger people, with their grandparents, grandchildren, for example, they're not able to really show what they are capable of. And we, the younger generation, are really missing out on a lot. Because they are the ones that have experienced this world like globally. They have studied overseas and things like that. So technology does not only help the elderly to mingle with the younger person, but it's also for the younger people to actually get all this valuable information from the elderly. Yeah.
Thank you, Ezzati. I find that quite interesting again, as we have this panel. And as Lily has put it earlier, that you're a different end of the book. And then on the other end, I just met Alif today. I think you're maybe my daughter's age. My daughter is staying with me, and I'm trying very hard to kick her out of the house to know of it. But then I realized then it's you. So my question to you is this, because your journey from communications to full-time caregiving is inspiring. right? How has technology played a role in supporting you as a caregiver? But before that, just tell the crowd a bit, the change from, and then maybe I'll think twice about kicking out my daughter.
Okay, thank you, Rashidi, and thank you also Futurise and Kendana for having me. Before I quit my job to become a full-time caregiver, I was with Cyberview, and then I went to Magic, and then Merandi, and then I worked with the National Technology and Innovation Sandbox, which work closely with Futurise. So I am familiar with their work, and so it's very exciting to still be part of this ecosystem, but from another perspective. Before that, I was working in communication. Usually, I'm the one who will be writing like key points and speeches for CEO. But now, sitting right here feels so weird. This is my first forum, so bear with me. So yeah, about technology. So I think I cannot not talk about technology without mentioning TikTok, which is my main platform. So I just want to echo what Ms. Ezzati said, and then YB and Datuk Chairman also mentioned sometimes technology is something simple. We don't have to go far away, which is true. And I think TikTok for me has played such a huge role. A little backstory. So if you guys don't know my TikTok, I basically share about my caregiving life, and then sharing tips about how to take care of bedridden patients. So backstory, my mom fell sick in 2022. So it was all very sudden. She was healthy, we were celebrating her birthday, and then suddenly, just one night, she had a cardiac arrest, and then she is suddenly fully paralyzed. So right now she needs full-time assistance lah. So which is why at some point I decided to quit my job and become her full-time caregiver. So during that time, it was a very dark time for us because we don't know anything about taking care of someone sick. And then my siblings, we are all boys, and then there's my mom. So it's very awkward for us lah, in that sense. So we had to learn a lot of things because my mom cannot move at all. So we need to feed her and then change diapers. We need to perform sponge baths, a lot of things. So at the hospital, nurses are usually very busy, which we understand. So we need to learn a lot ourselves. I look at YouTube, and I Google a lot based on the routines that I saw what nurses do, what the nurses did for my mom. So based on that, I study the correct technique, and then I thought, why not I share this? Because not everyone have the access to look for multiple sources to learn about caregiving. So that is why I started to share these tips and how to, and sharing on TikTok lah. So talking about technology also, what I really like about TikTok compared to other platforms that we have like Instagram, for example, is their algorithm. So a lot of people tell me they are not on TikTok because it's a dancing app, because people go there and then just perform dance, which is not true. What we see on the For You page is based on how we interact with the content. So if you watch a lot of dance video, so you'll see more dance videos. So but the algorithm of TikTok do a really good job in connecting people based on their interests. So just based on TikTok, I am connected with a lot of caregivers out there, those who have experience taking care of someone sick, or even someone who are about to become a caregiver, or someone who are already being a caregiver. So in that sense, it kind of become like a community. I was introduced to a lot of people from the elderly care industry, cost providers, apps developers, things like that. So TikTok really connected me to the industry, and that is how I am here today. It's because of TikTok. Yeah.
So this is just numbers, right? Which I would like to highlight. Alif belongs to the 80% of what we call an informal caregivers in this country. So this is a mind-blowing numbers. In Malaysia, 20% of caregivers are paid caregivers. Largely they are foreigners, the Filipinos, South Indian, or some Indonesian. Malaysia doesn't have a caregivers visa. So most of them comes to Malaysia under what we call a domestic workers visa and acts as a caregiver. So when we started Kendana, one of the things that we were looking at is the 80% of the informal caregivers. Where are they getting their knowledge from, their skills from? And I think Alif has done a tremendous job, teaching himself how to take care of the elders. So again, about numbers, right? Out of these 80% of informal caregivers, 56% are women. 56% are women, and out of these 56%, 48% are in what we call a sandwich family. They take care of the children and they take care of the elders. So they are again, it's a double, I wouldn't say whammy, but it's double responsibility of taking care. And they are not recognized. Some of them are not recognized. Some of them have to actually quit their jobs, case in point, Alif, and really care for that. Now, in terms of GDP, so I'll just look at numbers also. Every year, the country which loses its workforce because of they have to give up their jobs to care, we lose 0.1 to 0.2% of the GDP of the country. And that's a lot of loss of GDP in terms. So, Futurise, Kendana, we have to look at many ways of how do we balance this at the end of the day. Okay, Dr. Nazim, maybe kita not the same, if I'm not same standard, but since you are from my aging and we have worked very closely with my aging, and the subject matter is still on aging population, I would like to have your views. What do you think are the regulatory challenges generally you foresee in implementing advanced healthcare technologies for seniors, or anything or general for that matter?
So, my aging is Malaysian Research Institute on Aging. So, we basically cover three main domains, which is social gerontology, which covers also economics, and medical gerontology, which cover public health and also cellular level aging, hereditary health kind of things, and also we cover geron technology. So we try to be holistic, looking at everything from womb to tomb, in terms of policy, in terms of active aging, and also technology that can assist aging. So all of that, domain, we cannot run away from talking about cost. How much it costs, the cost to buy devices, to use the technology, the cost to have care, and the cost to do activities or to learn or to have training in order to take care of the elderly, right? So here comes where the policy can come in to ensure the accessibility and affordability, and also what truly serve the elderly. Sometimes it go back to what the panel said earlier. Sometimes the simple technology is what people need, right? But accessibility is one thing, affordability is another thing, where the regulation can be introduced, right, to make sure that no exclusion to the elderly. They can have the same technology advancement regardless of their socioeconomic background, and that is kind of important, right? So I think we have, in many platforms, people have discussed why some caregiving facilities charge very expensive, why some is very, it's affordable, right? But I think everybody agree that the care must be the same, right? The care quality must be the same, but maybe the accessories what make it different. We have developed some technology which is we try to push forward to people, and I just realized just now actually why is not taking off naturally. I think because many people is overwhelmed, because we thought the more features, the complete features, because we have everything. We try to we want to measure blood pressure, we want to measure temperature, oxygen level, everything in one device. And when people heard about it, at first they are excited, but later when we show how to use and everything, then we can sense that they are not there yet. Yeah. So maybe it's, we should have put it like one simple, very simple one at a time, And if you need, then we can add on something like that. Right? But to answer the question of the regulation, I think we need to have a regulation that can ensure accessibility, affordability, and truly needed, tailored to the elderly.
Again, Dr. Nazim, case in point, I just remember that my late father, he passed away in 2016. At that point of time, we banked, some of the banks have introduced internet banking and then later apps. Even my mom for that matter now. But she still belongs to the group of people that needs to go to the bank, update her past bank book, see the numbers in there is there. If she can count the money there, she would be happy to do that. She wouldn't take it for granted. Like, are you sure? The app is telling me how much I have in there, that kind of thing. But then we introduced digital bank. Recently we have digital bank license. No branch. You know what I'm saying? So for some people, this concept of I cannot go to the bank is totally alien. You know what I'm saying? Like what is this? But that's the way moving forward. Hence, now they have to adapt to this technology, which brings me to this. So what do you think are the key barriers seniors face when adapting to technology? And how do you think we can address the challenges? Whether we need a supportive legislation, whether policies, or etc. How do you think?
Well, I think a lot depends on the senior citizen herself or himself. it has to start there. Always start from, they must, I always say fear is a great motivator, right? Not motivated so much as, like, let's take the COVID years, my suggestion. You have no choice, right? So when you have no choice, when you're forced to do something, they step up. They will learn, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is make it simple. Like there are lots of young startup out there who are into creating apps for seniors. So they come to me and they ask me to test it out, right? And I say, oh, cannot. Font size is too small, navigation is so difficult, they will not be interested. They will not buy into it. So these are things you have to think about. For anybody who wants to come up with anything, digital, gadget, devices, whatever, for seniors, you have to be elderly-centered, elderly-focused for whatever you want to introduce to them. And for my group, for example, we have free membership. Maybe that's why it's so attractive. It's totally free. Why is it totally free? Whenever people talk to me, they say, first question they ask is, where's your office? You have no office? Then how do you have all your activities? We operate completely using apps and social media. That's how we operate. So no electricity, no utilities bill. But the condition is, if you want to join us, you must know how to use, like simple things first. COVID years, no choice. You got to learn Zoom. Never heard of Zoom before COVID, So they're forced to learn. Forcing people to learn. That's one major motivator. Yeah. So they learn how to use Zoom. Then I said, we operate through chat groups, WhatsApp. You have to learn how to install and use it. So, right? These are the things we force onto them. So they learn. And I tell you, when you push them, when they have no other choice, seniors will learn. One of the favorite, defeating, self-defeating, when they say, oh, I'm old already, my brain cannot work, my brain cells are all like atrophied already, half-dead. No, they can. Just give them the motivation. Tell them what's in it for them, and they will learn. Trust me on this. Because we completely use social media and apps to operate, and we are growing. So that's what I think they can learn. In fact, in our organization, I say organization in inverted commas, we have 9 major groups. We're all separated, all operating using WhatsApp. And the latest that we started was a group called Bits and Bytes, BYTES. Why? Because we realized, because of scams and all that, we realized we have to have a group like this so that we help one another. There are some seniors who are in the IT field, or they know a lot. So they are the ones who will answer the questions posed by the rest of us who do not know. So this is one way of helping the seniors get on board, to answer the questions, to warn them of scams, and to look out for this or that. Don't click on any links, for example. Right? So this is how we can adapt.
Good. Thank you, Lily. Again, I'm learning something new today. Fear will force us to do a lot of things. But coming back to regulatory framework, because I need to bring this conversation there, because this also benefit Futurise, because they are regulatory sandbox. So Ezzati, in your opinion, how can regulatory framework support social enterprise like Malaysia in scaling their impact in the care industry? What would be your wish in terms of regulatory framework?
Right. So I feel regulatory framework is very important in terms of providing standards to whatever we are providing to the community. So providing accreditation or having a body like Kendana where they will somehow validate the caregivers coming in. So when we have this 20% of caregivers, yes, we know where they're from, they're trained, but for the 80% informal caregivers, but they are looking to be a formal caregiver, like going through Kendana, and Kendana will be the one that is like validating their skills and everything, will be very helpful. So having that kind of body to actually accredit and also providing us with the insight, okay, these people are okay to work with, this one is not, so that would help. And then providing, like, facilitating partnerships with government bodies would help as well, because we know, like me myself, I start a business because I know I cannot depend on the government for everything. Because I've heard that if you are hoping the government to solve your problem, it's never going to happen. So you have to take the first step to help your own community so that they are able to be assisted. So one of the main services that we offer in Teman Malaysia is actually companionship for elderlies for their hospital appointments. Because during the movement restrictions before, and maybe the elderlies are not living with their children, but because their children are not able to go back home, to go back to their home state to take care of their parents, to just bring them to hospital appointments, Teman will be there to bring them to hospital appointments. So if for example hospital shutdown would really validate our service, they see us as a value added to their kind of service, where the elderlies will not miss their appointment, they will not have parking problems because the children will have to park their car and then drop the parents. So by having a service like Teman, and it is endorsed by the hospital themselves, that will really help social enterprises like Teman to really help out a lot more people out there. Yeah, and I just would like to share something that I heard on the radio coming here before. There is one company called Scammers on Hold. It is an AI company where the founder created the AI bot to actually talk with scammers so that they would not get the chance to scam other people. So is Scammers on Hold, in short, is SOAP. So they call the AI Madam SOAP. So can you imagine we having someone like Lily talking to a scammer? Like, really? You sure? You give me my details, something like that. So I just got a call last week from a scammer. So even people my age would really like be nervous a bit, right? They got my IC number, my email address, my home address. So having an AI to help an elderly, not as a whole, it was really talented to really help us, and we would all benefit from all this.
Interestingly also, because Lily mentioned that in her own WhatsApp group, and then you have members that ask her, hey, is this a scam, whatever, not. I would recommend my mom to join the WhatsApp group. She just click on everything. So yeah, Alif, in the real world challenges, what are the real world challenges you face as a now caregiver? To me, you epitomize the informal caregivers. I think if the informal caregivers Malaysia needs a face, you should be the poster boy. Really, I'm inspired by you. Okay, so the real world challenges that you face when accessing caregiving technologies. Yes, you did mention YouTube and so forth. How can regulations improve this experience?
I think the main challenge that me, myself as an informal caregiver face is the fact that we don't know what technology exists to assist us with caregiving. I think this is because most of informal caregivers did not plan to become a caregiver. Somehow it just happened, some incident happened that require you to become a caregiver. So when this happened, you kind of need to learn on the spot a lot of things. For example, we need to bring my mother to hospital. When we were discharged from the hospital, we took an ambulance. But now we have hospital appointments. Do we get ambulance again? Because it's very costly, right? So a lot of caregivers, I think, needs to be creative in that way, in solving problems. You face problems as and when, and then you need to solve them. So another example, this is very simple, but clothing. because my mom is fully paralyzed and then she has a tracheostomy tube and cannot move at all. So what does she wear to hospital appointments? Because we still need to look at things like aura, protecting her modesty, things like that. So and then for clothing, we decided to make our own. We sort of cut the back of her clothes, her jubah, so that we can put on from front part. So and then after that, only I realized there are things that are called adaptive clothing, which is very new to me, and I learned that from sharing about what I did with my mom's clothes, and then people start sharing about, oh, there are these kinds of products. So that is how we learned about new technology and new how to solve things that we face daily as a caregiver. So yeah, I think because we as a caregiver don't have a lot of resources like medical professionals, sometimes I do get comments on my TikTok where people say they don't even know, they're looking for something, but they don't even know what's the name if they want to look for that in the pharmacy, So I think educating caregivers post-discharge is very important. That is something that can be helped. And then, after knowing about these technologies, then comes the next barrier, which is cost. So, for example, like I mentioned, my mother cannot move at all, so we need to lift her up. And then someone mentioned to me, why don't you just get that lifting machine? And then I looked for that lifting machine, it's like 4,000 ringgit. So I think never mind, we just stick to the manual lifting method. So I think cost is also a very huge challenge and barriers for caregivers in accessing technologies.
The fact that Alif mentioned costs and what he's going through is what's called long-term care. And this is my favorite subject matter when it talks about long-term care. In Malaysia, this current Madani government, they have some initiatives. Part of the initiatives coming up in RMK 13 is to look at how the government can support the people in terms of having a long-term care fundings. We have a national aging blueprint, I believe we are going to launch soon. It's a 20-year or 30-year blueprint of how Malaysia addresses the challenging aging nation. And one of the recommendations in the national aging blueprint, long-term care insurance. Now, I verily believe, like people like Alif and family, if this long-term care insurance was introduced many years ago, they'll be the first few people to say, hey, I can benefit this, etc., etc. So again, when we talk about regulations and so forth, and especially talk about cost, how do we defray this cost? Because I believe Alif is just one of the many of us, maybe some of you here, are experiencing this in terms of taking care of your elderly. Okay, I'm going to change the format a little bit. I would like, Lisa, am I allowed to ask the audience questions? I think we can, right? Rather than being in the end, and then you lose out your train of thoughts. Maybe we should open up this session to them while we have some questions in your mind, and then to ask any one of us, or maybe you want to share something where you agree or disagree with the speakers. Please.
Hi everyone. It's a very good talk for today because I've been seeking for a long term for information on this caregiving, and because I was going through a traumatic moment since 2020 up to 2023 with my parents, which is my mom and my dad. In 2020, my mom had a severe attack, and due to that, she collapsed in the house. And that was the first experience that I had, that I don't know what to do with her. And she was at a chronic heart disease. And then we somehow, because that was a pandemic moment, which the hospital was like a very difficult moment for us to commute her, because we referred to IGN. And IGN had actually informed that, okay, no, we can't do the op, we can't do any bypass for her, because she's historically she had diabetics for a long term. So he just said, okay, we try out on medication. We come back after 3 months. She's still alive. That's all. That was the thing. So during the entire pandemic moment, we were not able to go out. But luckily, I was engaged with Ministry of Health. So that was the moment that I learned a lot, looking at how to take care of her at home, because she was not mobile. She can't move much, and we were struggling on that. Upon that, suddenly my dad, he got a severe abdominal pain, and we rushed him to hospital, and he was diagnosed for cancer stage 4. So that was another traumatic moment for us, and luckily he had gone through the operation and everything. But what I see over here, I learned a lot from the internet, and I actually educate my parents to learn to use their smartphone, and I engage them with the WhatsApp, and then my mom got a group of all these cardiac patients, and they were starting to communicate among themselves and so on. But one thing that I noticed that teman is something that new to me, that I don't know. If I knew about it, that means the awareness. We don't have the awareness on where to go and seek help, because looking at financial constraints, it's like we don't have much. This Perker, My Salam is nothing much that we can flow with. Hospital, yes, nothing much we can accept. Even for her angio, to do her angio, they asked to wait for a year. She was diagnosed, and I said no, the patient will be just gone by then. So we have to find our financial sources. But my question here, how can all these NGOs, I'm not sure whether it's NGOs, organizations, external body, how they are engaged to hospitals where we can seek them? Because I don't know which are the channels that I can provide that. Is that a platform? Is it all the hospitals that you are providing this, especially like now when they are going for their consultations? We find it difficult, because like myself, I have my mother-in-law at home. She's also having an epilepsy problem, so she's a bit immobile at home, but she's still mobile. She can walk and she can do things. But when we are going for hospital consultation, it takes hours, and both me and my husband have to take leave. So this is a routine. So I have my mom, my dad. So the consultation going on all the years. So my leave will be just for this. So what are the channels that I can actually refer to and seek?
Ezzati.
You should take this.
So this is something that I hear a lot, so I should really be chasing my mind thinking to get to where all that. There is only so much that we can do, because we have gone to the government hospitals. They will say that, okay, you guys are not from us, so we're not able to really promote you guys that much. So when we offer to them that, never mind, you can just let us be there at the lobby to help anyone that wanted to engage our service. You don't have to pay us, you don't have to do anything. We just want to test the market, whether or not our service would be beneficial for them. Even so, we're not able to do so. So that's the problem as well. So if the Ministry of Health or even the Pengarah Hospital would acknowledge, that would be very helpful. So we try to put ourselves as much out there at the social media. So if you're able to engage with us, that would be very helpful. But that is really what we are trying to do actually. Our target is to help the children who are sandwiched between caring for the elderly and also their own children, right? We don't want the holidays just for hospital appointments, because those are not called holidays. We want to do fun things, right? So hopefully teman will be there to help you here. If you are in company, hopefully we are able to help you out, and hopefully we are able to expand to other states as well.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get your name earlier. Sheila. Okay. I really empathize, and I understand what you're going through. I think you speak on behalf of a lot of people out there who's working, and then taking leaves to go to the hospital. I actually took a sabbatical 1 year in 2016, not to work, to care for my ailing father at that point of time. So he has to go to dialysis 3 times a week, and then he got an IJN appointment in between, and he has to screaming for nasi kandar. So I have to drive all the way to Penang and come back one day. It's just a trip, just to make him happy, And I was astounded that Dr. Ezzati, the cardiologist, I remembered, but then I was having an argument with him. I was telling him, you should tell my father, don't take so much nasi kandar and curry. And it was his answer to me like, look now, he's already 80 years old, right? He's already 80 years old. You want to stop him from eating his favorite food. Why? Okay, I said, after that, he got high rate, you can answer this. But my point is, yes, exactly. At that point of time, I wish there was some of the services like Teman that I didn't know about. And not a big promotion for Teman Malaysia, but they are one of the many different services, right? Yes, Ezzati, tell the marketing team, or fire them, or whatever maybe. You need a new set of marketing team. But really, just on this point, how does you think a senior Aloud can play such role?
Okay, thank you for that question. I'm very fortunate because we seniors, our group is so big that we support one another. So because of longevity, the people now live longer, right? The sandwich generation and carers need not be in their 30s or 40s. When I was in my 70s, I was also a caregiver for my mom. My mom passed away 2 years ago at the age of 95. So you can imagine, I was a caregiver as well. I was with her on the dementia Alzheimer's journey for 11 years, from the start to the end stage. So I was, I started with being a sole caregiver to a primary caregiver because she ended up in a nursing home. But going back to being aware, where to get help and so on. In my community, for example, we are so big, we've got former doctors, former nurses, and all that. So we just put the word out there. Would you anyone recommend a nursing home? The answer comes back. Right? Or anyone can provide transport for my mother who needs to go to a hospital? The answer comes back. So this is our support group for one another. We have breast cancer survivors. All these things are there. So this is one way of approaching the problem.
To answer to your problem, just lash on seniors a lot myself. Okay. Yes, we have another question.
I think this session has been immensely helpful, insightful. I hear technology, I hear efforts from different channels, different media. We have someone like Alif who's really put his hands on to make a difference. One thing I hear is that we are looking for solutions, we're looking for collaborations, but what really does by stepping up, organizing the community, sometimes, oftentimes, is the answer to many of the issues. Teman is probably one of the way in which the technology is integrated with the efforts to organize community. I heard what Alif mentioned earlier, right? Post-discharge caregivers they don't know where to look for such help, right? It's oftentimes we're put in these kind of circumstances where we don't know where to look for help. But this community exists, and the challenge now is basically how do we connect people like Alif with the resources that are already out there, people who already know how. Alif is making his own effort in TikTok, wonderful initiative to educate and help others. So aside from what Teman does, and you are obviously using Facebook and WhatsApp, but on a greater scale, have you come across any solutions that help you connect with community post-discharge? The second question that I have is, how big an issue is mobility, transportation, right, as a cost factor as well as availability issue in Malaysia for the elderly and those who has mobility issue?
Perhaps you can introduce yourself.
My name is Chong. I am a startup entrepreneur, Malaysia returning from Hong Kong after 10 years. I'm working on a project that is trying to help the community prepare themselves for emergencies, medical in particular. But the challenge there is also the infrastructure is not there, so I'm trying to build a platform.
Thanks, Chong and Yuri. So, Lily, you want to think about transport? How do you solve it?
As far as I know, there is maybe 2 universities who are looking into this and trying to come up with an app, so that those who need the service, the university students will go and pick up the patient and send them to the nearest hospital. But for, like I said earlier, my community, we do it privately on our own. And which brings me to this model that I'm trying very hard, to introduce to gated community, or the tamans, or the PPR flats. Because a lot can be done within the area, the neighborhood. Neighbors helping neighbors, bringing the kampong spirit back. We need that. Right? We need that very, very much.
Nazim, perhaps any efforts by my aging?
Right. We hear the problems regarding regular checkups, the mouth to the hospital, the parents to the hospital, and all that, regarding the mobility issues and the information. Yeah, we do have some research on, or at least we wanted to have like one-stop center where we can provide everything, information especially, right? Ironically, I think I already told Rashidi about this. One of our former researcher, he's in my aging, and then he goes somewhere else, right? So he's in my aging for quite many years, and I just came in, and then suddenly he called me and says, "Hey, my mom is diagnosed with dementia. What should I do?" I said, "Hey, you are in my aging for so long. Now you are asking me. I'm new here." Anyhow, that's what happened. Even though the researcher, we are so focusing our own problem, sometimes we overlook something important. On the mobility issue, of course, now there are virtual ward where the patient can stay at home, provided with a remote monitoring device, and in the hospital there are like counter or operators overseeing all these vital and information about the patients, and only provide help whenever needed. That's one. And another thing, especially on the regular checkup things, right? We were promoting still remote monitoring, where doctors or caregivers can monitor the health status of patient at home, and whenever there is health status changes, only then maybe the operator will call, or we will alert the families that something needs to be intervened. That's the technology and the facilities technology that we have, but not massively in implement to the society. And against the regulations, I believe, on virtual wards, there's no regulation at the moment, even though some hospitals already done it, but there's no regulation, and I don't know, maybe there will be, if it's not regulated, there will be problems later on that we need to face. Right? So when we wanted to create all this regulation, we need to look into all these aspects, the details, and how it can be implemented. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Nazim. So I realize, especially for all this information, when you're taking care of somebody, you need a pivotal information place. Like last time we said we have MySejahtera, so during COVID we have reference. Right? There lies the challenges again to have something similar. So that's why when we launched Kendana last year, and Kendana was 2 years in the making, for us to get all the geriatrics and gerontologists, all the experts together, sitting on the same platform, the same table. Kendana is still at its infant stage. Check us out, kendana.com. Some of the things that Alif has suggested in terms of knowledge repository, some of the videos, I would love to connect some of these videos on our website. And half of my work is done, poster boy, again, I love the idea. But the challenge is also about cost, actually. So, and Alif mentioned something about, for him to move the parents to hospital, I think you require an ambulance per se. How do you solve it down?
For the first time after discharge, we took an ambulance, but after that, ambulance is a bit too expensive. So what we do right now is actually lift her manually using a transfer sheet, and then move her to the car. So we drive her to hospital. Although she cannot move, but we still do that manually just to save costs.
Moving manually is not ideal, It's not. Yeah, it's a bit too big, I think. So it's not ideal. Hence, again, there are services. I think this makcik something. Islamo. Joe Makcik, right? Yeah, Joe Makcik offers transportations to hospitals and so forth. But again, it comes down to cost per se. It's something that we have to look into. I want to open it. Please, let's participate. Okay.
Assalamualaikum, Hazrin and Tom Setera. We build long-term care facilities, retirement homes, something like nursing homes as well. So we look into providing an alternative to keeping your dependent at home. Sometimes you may not be giving them the best care. Not everyone is willing to do what Alif has done. Some may be willing to do it, but may not be equipped with enough knowledge to really give the best care to the loved one. The dilemma here is being Asians, maybe Malay Muslims. There's this stigma of anak derhaka. If you send them to nursing home or long-term care facilities, although that may be the most viable option. My question is, can technology play a role in addressing this stigma? Maybe bridging that gap between what the person feels they should be doing at home and knowing what's happening to their loved one in the facility while they are being taken care of.
Like when we discussed earlier, drone technology helps elderly to age in place. So meaning that they wanted to stay at home and aging gracefully. And of course, we also discussed on remote monitoring devices, and also there are many sensors that we can include in the smart home to such as false detections, and also to combat the number one enemy for elderly. Sorry? Dementia? I would say loneliness. Yeah, loneliness. Yeah. So I think we also discussed about this, the digital companions. Now AI can speak many dialects, even can speak Kelantanese. Yeah. So we wanted to have humanoid AI companion where they can argue about which drama is, which character is more villain than the other one, right? Something like that. And to answer the question is, of course, there are lots of technology that can help elderly to living in place. And again, if we have specific regulations. I'm sorry, whenever we are talking about care, elderly care, I cannot dissociate with other countries. I live quite some time in the UK, and I mean, for conditions like Alif, I think people in UK they don't have much problem because they can quit their job and get another salary from the government, even to provide to get a new car where can install all these facilities to take elderly to the hospital. They provide some of money, the staircase, everything. I know because when I studied and I work as floor engineers, and the supervisor is an English woman who is the caregiver. So I know all the benefits that she got from the government. I said, wow, if this is happening in Malaysia, it will be fantastic. But with the technology emerged, with many institutions in Malaysia who did research, who do research on technologies, yes, we can help elderly to aging in place.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nazim. I just want to address this stigma. It's not only prevalent to Malay Muslim community, because it's taboo among us Malaysians. Maybe Singaporeans too, to an extent that you don't really send your parents away. The saying that one mother can take care of 7 children, but 7 children can't even take care of one single mother. It's always, I'm hearing this all the time. But like everything else in society, we change, our value change. And this is something that we have noticed along the way. If you ask the current generations who in their 50s, who's about to retire, most of them, like me, I say, I wouldn't want to burden my children. I'm looking for a place that I can go with my wife and be there and grow old in the community, etc., etc. And that's far cry from me sending my mom or my parents now to go to these kind of places, because definitely I don't have to worry about my community. My auntie will pick up the phone, and just give me a tongue that she can't do that. And she will say, like, if you cannot take care of mother, send her over, I'll take care, kind of thing. I cannot face that. So the stigma is there, but we had a dialogue back in 2024 where this question was asked, and we had Dr. Mazhar, one of the Mufti, was around, and we have another Mufti from UK. And interestingly, the one in UK is a different take from Dr. Mazhar. And if you guys know her, or know him, sorry. So he has a certain views, although he's open-minded, Dr. Mazhar, but he still believes that duty of care lies with the parents. You know, die, you have to take care of parents. Kind of thing. Again, Sheikh Sajid, Sheikh Sajid was like, to give care, this is what he says, to give care, that doesn't mean you have to manifest your presence 24 hours beside the parents. To give the best care, that doesn't mean you have to manifest your presence 24 hours beside the parents. It's good enough that you provide the best in your ability for them. And that's, again, two different school of thoughts. I'm thinking, wow, as society changes, we may have to embrace this as we go forward. Yes, good question. Sorry, the gentleman here does not have another question.
Hello, my name is Nas. I just want to bring up the topic of awareness. I'm sure that the topic is the future of care. I think that for most of the speakers here, I think you guys did a good job in terms of integrating technology in your organization. But my kind of like concept now is more talking about the future, which is the next generation now, which is we're talking about the Gen Z. I think bridging technology to different generations kind of like sort of the topic that people think it's too early for this generation to kind of like thinking about everything care. But I think like when you're talking about cost, there's something that is not cost, which is knowledge, which knowledge is free. And I think like bridging that technology to different generations, starting with education, is something that we kind of like can implement in terms of going to, for example, university to university, and like talking about in context of how do we take care of when there's emergency, when there's someone in our house is dealing with this incident. I think like countries like Japan, Norway, they started moving forward in educating little children. Because I'm talking here as educator, so it's like I see that they kind of like in a very early stage, they talking about, for example, there's hot water. What do we do when there's hot water? Because like simple things like that. I think when we start kind of think about how do we kind of like taking care of incidents, emergency, and then they sort of like thinking, oh, when I'm older later on, I have to take care of my parents. So how do I manage that? So when they know like little bits of that. So my question is to the panel is, how do we bridge that knowledge into a different generation? And I like how Lily mentioned about how she do that for her community. But how about the other generation, kind of like the Gen Z, the millennials, and all that?
Okay. Thank you, Nasha. It's a good question. Nearly to Gen Z, Nasha. Sorry, Alif, or Ezzati, you want to take this?
Maybe I'll just. By the way, I'm not a millennial, I'm not a Gen Z. I don't know. My friend who is also a teacher raised a very good point. He said that in Malaysian schools they are taught about pengurusan jenazah, things like that, which is very serious for a young kid. But why didn't we teach things like this at school? Is before becoming a jenazah, you learn how to take care of your elderly. So I think definitely this is something that should be introduced to school. I think from my point of view, social media has played a very important role in bridging these generations, because I have been contacted by people as young as still studying at school, asking me what do they need to buy because his mom had a stroke attack. So what do we need to buy? So yeah, from my perspective, social media is playing a role, but I think I don't want to go deep into regulation, but this is something that definitely needs to be introduced to schools.
Just for information, of course, as researchers and educators, we do push for this, and there are already module that secondary school can take on gerontology. Like one college vocational, they have this course on gerontology, which is my ED is providing the module. And also there are several others, the school also have taken this initiative as well. And we do aware about the intergenerational issues, and from time to time we do get some funding from United Nations in order to promote intergenerational activities to bridging the gap.
Okay. At this moment of time, I do have children of my own, they are 9 and 7. I do feel like this generation has to be taught about everything. There comes a time where I feel like macam ni pun tak boleh fikir. Like being empathetic, things like that, even simple things. So I do feel like some things are meant to be taught at school, because sometimes they already know the alphabets by 3, they know how to do multiplication by 7. So maybe they don't need that much lessons, the academic lessons, but more on the social lessons at schools. Because not only my children, the children their age, they mature very fast. So I see how children, how secondary children are already taking care of their parents and things like that. So I would prefer those things be taught at schools rather than how to tie a knot, scouts, things like that. We should add other things to the curriculum as well.
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit here, and that is show by example. Because in a family, you have got 3 generations, sometimes even 4. So if they, let's say those in the 20s and 30s looking after the parents or grandparents, the younger ones observe. So that's how they learn. That's one way. Of course, the other way is in school. Introduce a subject of caring for older people. And I don't know whether you've seen this, but I did a documentary about 23 minutes long called Menanti Senja. Menanti Senja, right? And it focuses on a Muslim aged care home. And this has been used in some universities, including Kyoto University, Japan, right? As a teaching, module for young people in the university. So these are some of the ways. And we can do this just by example, by sharing whatever is out there and showing them. And I have taken the youngest grandson at one time to a nursing home, aged care home, to observe, right? And the funny thing he said, "Oh, grandma, is this a museum for old people?" Because it's a collection of old people there in one place. I mean, this is how young people sleep, right? He was about, I think, 6 or 7 years old at that time. So this is quite interesting to hear back from them. But I think the best way is by example. If you treat your parents well, if you treat your grandparents well, the younger ones learn from you. If you abuse them psychologically, that's how they learn from you. Physically abuse, psychological abuse, they pick up very easily, young people. Right? And at the same time, going back to my community again, we also do awareness. So that those in my community who are in we say early, the young old. We have young old, middle old, and old, and the super old. Right? This is for research, easier to categorize it. Because for each bracket, it's different needs. The young old, the needs are different from the super old or the old. Right? I consider myself somewhere in between. I don't know where. I'm there. But anyway, so in my community, for example, we've got the young olds who are in the 50s. They're not old actually, but they're younger. But we prepare them. We make sure that they are active, they are in good health, they are aware of what to do to get prepared so that when they age, when they're in their 70s, they don't need so much care. Because we are in that era now where our children don't live with us. My children, they don't live with me. So what we're going to do, even if you have a husband and wife, eventually one spouse goes and they're left with their load. And that's where loneliness comes in. When loneliness gets worse, it becomes depression. And when depression gets even worse, it becomes suicidal. The old will say, might as well die lah. Better to die. Nobody cares for me. So this is one situation we don't want to see happen. And we hope that right now, we hope that there are regulations in place to prevent all these things from happening. They're already happening and we are desperate for the government to step in, for regulation to come in to help us.
Thank you, Lily. All right. Now, do you have time, Nisa? Do you have time, right? Okay, right. Let's get going. After this, the lady behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and very good morning. I wish to all. My name is Cikgu Intan Safinas from Laman Kayara, Putrajaya, and also president of ISHPO KL Putrajaya. Okay. So I have this center since 2017. I offered daycare or stay-in for those in need. And I have taken care, I think, thousands since 2017 of elderlies. What I do, because I have 2 children, I just want to share. I have 2 children, all already big enough. After their SPM, I ask them to work with me to take care of the elderly. So at least I expose them on how you need to have the skill. And just to add on, I have SKM3 also on the way for my SKM4. SKM is Teacher Kemahiran Malaysia in caregiver, sorry. So this is also important for those who are in the care industry. I think it's important for us to, teach our children, how to take care of the elderly, how to respect them. And I always remind my staff to treat the elderly in my center with pride and dignity. Because I think 100% the elderly that I take care is, most of them having dementia and also Alzheimer. Yeah. So I think all of us, we must change the perception in Malaysia on, if you send your parents to the elderly care center, that means you are not derhaka. Because some of them, I got this pakcik, the children take him home or back home on Friday, for example. Tapi Saturday they dah pack all his things, say he want to go back because he wants to meet up with his friends, to socialize in my center. So I think maybe one of it is that we must think of maybe a campaign. A campaign on, you don't need to be bad to send. I mean, I myself, I send my, one time my mom fell down at home and then broke his knees. So I asked her to stay at my place. And she's happy. She's happy that diabetic all in control because we take care of the food all. So actually, it's an alternative actually. Alternative. Not to say it's good to send. You don't send and just leave them lah. You send and then you come, you take them for kenduri, for shopping and all. You can always do that. At least they can socialize. Yeah. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Cikgu.
I just want to say, please watch my documentary. Because you are hearing from the mouth of the elderly how they feel when their children leave them there in the home. Right? Do watch it. It's a very short one. YouTube, you can watch on YouTube. Manunji Senja.
If I may, from research, it has been consistent up until 2023 that 70% don't want to go to care facilities, only 30%. But Cik Rashidi saying that it's okay to send. When I watched what is this? Gegar Gaza, Dato' Syafina is also willing to go, right? So we are thinking, we are doing a new survey now. Hopefully we can get the data back before I know.
Normally, those who are healthy, they doesn't want to when we ask those who are healthy, they, of course 70% he doesn't want to go in the center. But like at my place, 100% dementia and Alzheimer, they don't have the same actually. So that's different target market. I think maybe you should ask the children, or I don't know. Because if let's say you are in their shoes, then only people might understand.
So, sorry, can we just put the so we have one more here and then one more. Then we have enough. Last 2 questions.
Good morning. My name is Mohd. Our company provides dispensing of long-term medication, primarily to those with chronic diseases. Not so much aging population, but employees that are still productive. Personally, I don't know if this is a sharing or my experience, but maybe coming to my question is I've got the opportunity to care for my 3rd elderly parent staying with me, aging in place, as Deputy Director of my aging has indicated. My first is my father-in-law, stroke my late father-in-law, so with some assisted care in home. My second, my own mother, palliative care, cancer. She passed away 2 years ago, and now currently in my house, my dementia-stricken mother-in-law that requires full-time care. And my question, I'm a lawyer by training, by the way, so my question is, which agency in Malaysia do you think, I mean obviously we're discussing a framework of regulation, so I expect there's no regulation at the current rate, which is why we're in the sandbox. Which agency do you think would play a pivotal role here? Because I hear from the audience questions and those esteemed panelists sharing the experience of community engagement. I think that's brilliant. People looking for care. But allow me to share, I think the fundamental problem for caregivers like myself, and I'm very blessed because I'm in the industry, I know where to look for help. One call I can get doctors, nurses, hospitals, whatever. But so many people that I see in the government hospitals, I take my father, by the way, also, but he doesn't need assisted living, but I take him to the hospitals. And he goes to the government hospital, and I see so many elderly do not know how to seek help. So surely the Ministry of Health realizes this, right? You can't just simply discharge people, have in your home care. I don't know if any MOH officials are here, but surely there should be a guideline or some kind of comprehensive care plan for elderly, because people like me, although I am in the industry providing care providing care informally, but my business is about drugs support, don't even know what is the right thing to do for our aged parents. I think that's the key here, guys. You have options to send to nursing homes, have a full-time nurse that I have aging in place. We have all the options, bar of course cost considerations. But I think the thing that I'm looking at is we are always asking ourselves, I'm always asking myself, am I doing the best that I can do for my aged mom or my, parents? That's, I think, and this is where hospice, well, my mom who passed away with cancer, I engaged hospice because they came in, and for me, they came in and said, this is the best you can do. I think I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. I don't know about you guys in the room, I think you would probably resonate with me. But when you do the best, and the person depending on you requires medical intervention, medical advice, but not necessarily hospital medical intervention, what do you do? Where do you go? So I'm testing a solution. So I'm not in business, okay? I just declare. working with primary physicians to have a geriatric assessment care plan. And to support this, and hopefully, can introduce it through Kendana, for GPs to train other GPs, to provide an assessment, in-house assessment one time, and say these are the modalities that you can do for your agent. Depending on their support level, they may be chronic, they may need oxygen, they may be intubated, very different, care, right? But where do you get this advice now? I mean, I'm in the industry, guys. One call I get, head of whatever, pantai or whatever, but I don't even know. I mean, I can consider, 90% of the population in Malaysia? I'm sorry, but that's how I'm seeing it. So, Rashidi, which agency are we talking about here? I mean, the community is great.
Yes, thank you, Simon. Okay, this is stirring the bird's nest. So, this question.
Sorry.
I will get to and Futurise statement. This is a landscape in Malaysia about care in general first, then I address about healthcare. The biggest recipient of our budget is Kementerian Kesihatan, the Ministry of Health. Whatever billions, there's 50-60 billions a year. And then, but when we talk about elderly care, right, the responsibility falls under Kementerian Wanita. Right, so let's talk about ministries level now. Kementerian Wanita, under Nasir today, has launched last year their care economy blueprint. So they came out with the care economy. We were in rooms bigger than this. We were stuck for 2 weeks, and then they took up the week. They said, okay, give us solutions. That's great. But the but is this: when you talk about long-term care, especially when you're taking care of your elders at home, whether palliative or dementia, long-term care falls under the purview of Ministry of Health. Generally, it falls under the purview of Ministry of Health. However, Ministry of Health, even with the introduction of the Public Facilities Services Healthcare Act, the new act, which is part under them, are not the champion of long-term care, because they themselves are laden with other healthcare issues in this country. Right? So in between Kementerian Wanita and Kementerian Kesihatan, this will fall into the cracks. Definitely fall into the cracks. So we've been engaging the government to look, let's have a inter-ministry agency, I'm saying. But then even that doesn't work, And I was just thinking, what's so difficult of creating a WhatsApp group between the KSU, and then add on your TKSU, your members, and coordinate it. But it's not as simple as that. So to find one single agency is going to be a problem, because you are fragmented, you are working in silos and so forth. Right? I think from my aging, they can share with you their challenges also, because my aging is the center or the institute for aging in this country, right? But they are under Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi. So they have to comply to all the KPT requirements. I need research papers, blah blah blah. If not, you cannot become associate professor, whatever it may be. So this is a huge subject matter, and then again, like Simon stirs the nest. Where do we start? So the right question is, where do we start, right? At the end of the day, like so many of you, Lily and even Ezzati, and case in point, even Alif, you start your own. Alif started because this is my small family, I have to take care. Simon, you started, this is my own mom, my own father-in-law, I have to start. Ezzati looking at, I'm looking at this, she starts her committee. And then Lily, the case in point, her 1,000 members, and Lily is growing, and she starts that. But all these efforts, actually, at the end of the day, the Futurise also has to do with that, is that how we streamline all this, how we streamline all this. There need to be one body to look into this. Like Australia, Australia has their own ministry for aged care. One whole ministry. We decided to split our communication and digital into two. I don't even see why we need to do that. Why can't we have one ministry on this? Where else? So again, looking at the whole big picture, we have to start somewhere. We are going rounds and rounds in circles, and that's the truth. That's the truth in Malaysia. But I wake up every morning knowing that there are people like Alif and Ezzati trying to do this, trying to make a change, trying to make a good. Yes, your suggestion is perfect. Get the geriatric doctor, come up with a plan. But then, where do they latch their knowledge? How do I offer these services? I think Yue Chong, being a startup, he has a brilliant idea about emergency and having an app and to connect the community. So he started this with his own pocket money, and yet he comes to this point to be like, where do I go? Who's going to help me, etc., etc. So these are the things that I believe. This is a start. This kind of talks is a start and so forth. And I'm glad Futurise is taking this. It's a heavy responsibility, but we like to work with everybody. You have something? Okay. Can I just try to finish these two questions?
Actually, I think my voice is actually quite loud. Now, I never thought much about aging until 2015 when I resigned from my job. Okay? And during that period, in 2013 December, my father passed away. Alright, my father. So we never really had to take care of him. So in 2014, my mom was admitted to hospital for UTI, and that was when I really reflect on aging. And along the way, a friend comes in and talks about aging. Alright, the friend is 6 years my senior, so his favorite topic was aging. And I find that today I am also interested in this aging topic. And that's the reason why I came today. It was a very, it was only yesterday that I got to know this through Rashidi, and I'm here. Now, I don't have questions really. I learned through experiences. So what I did is just try to take care of my mom. Now, my mom is fine. She is 92 years old. I still take her for massage. She don't really have dementia or all those things. I think what we do in giving her the best care, you can only do to the best of your ability. Because at the end of the day, you as caregiver, you also have to take care of yourself. So your primary, I feel like my primary role is, of course, I must be able to take care of myself so that I can take care of her. Alright? So that is how I move. Now, in a way, I've been lucky because I don't struggle that much with the cost aspect. Alright? If my mom needs a hospital, I have called emergency, get her to the hospital, things like this. But there comes a point I ask myself, when I see her in hospital during COVID, she had COVID too, but she was admitted for UTI. Alright? And I had to stay with her for that 1 week. So in staying with her, my weight drops from 65 to about 60. And my friends say I look sick. Alright? But after she's out, I tried to, because we don't want her to sleep alone. And therefore, for the next 2 weeks, I was sleeping with her. But being a very light sleeper, I wake up at the slightest noise, and when she goes to the toilet, and she goes back to her bed, she is snoring within 5 minutes, and I'm lying down 1 hour, 2 hours later, I still couldn't sleep. And when she's about to get up, I was about to go to sleep. Okay, so it doesn't work. And that was the point I actually told my brothers, I said, it has to change. Because there's no point in me trying to be a hero. Alright, so my brothers have also taken on the role. They actually, now 2 of them actually alternate and sleep with my mom. So during the day, what happened was, well, we take shift. I normally take the morning shift, and then my brother takes the afternoon, and at night we all come together. Now, I have a niece and a nephew that stays with me. And my niece is 12, nephew is 10. So what happens is there are days when you feel a little, you know, you lack, as you are growing older, your energy also drops. Okay? So that was the time when I will tell my niece, and this is where she sees my example. I say, hey, I'm a bit tired today. Can you take care of grandma? She will do it. She will do it. But at the side, she will tell the brother, actually, she don't like to do it. But she has no choice. So she does it. So all these little things, you know, little things, for me, I do it as I grow along. Now, when I hear the story of the elderly with stroke and handicap and bedridden, I do realize I'm very lucky with my mom. Okay, we play cards with her, we let her play cards because let her play. Alright, I just give her 2 stacks of cards, all mixed up. And I say, Mom, it's time to use your brain, you know. And she will start thinking, what do you want me to do? I said, 1 to K. And she will sort out the card, 1 to K. That takes her about an hour. Sometimes it can go 1.5 hours. Because there are days when I have to go to the market, nobody is at home. I just lock the door, all right? Make sure she is where she is. And I gave her the stack of cards. I will run to the market in half an hour, at most 1 hour. I will be back. She will still be at the table sorting out the cards. Because, you know, things have to move. So my comfort lies in the fact that I know deep inside we all try to give the best we can. I think, you know, to depend on the government to do is also very difficult. So we have duty, but of course we also have to balance it against our own needs, you know. So it was only yesterday I was looking at one particular WhatsApp message, and they were talking about offering care to children, and that's when I text you, you know, because as caregiver there are days like now, I find that my traveling is practically zero. I've tried to take my mom twice overseas, and in those 2 trips, 2023 Chiang Mai, 2024 UK, I had a bit of a scare. So if something is to happen to her overseas, I will be under severe stress. Alright, so basically my own experience. Alright?
Thank you.
No question.
Thank you for taking
But
the
you
share.
guys are doing a fine job.
Thank you. I think we got one more. Hafiz kat belakang. Yeah. This is the last question, guys.
It's not a question.
Okay.
It may not be a question because I just do not know how I'm going to start. This is all about my personal experience and maybe something that I would like to suggest to especially the team on the stage. But anyway, first of all, my name is Hafiz. I'm from the Global Rich Education, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Mr. Rashidi was with me when we were at some point, you know, in University Kebangsaan Malaysia. But now I'm with Singapore University of Social Sciences, and that's the reason why we are here, because we are planning to run a program focusing on active aging. That will be in July. Okay. I just do not know how to start because there's something that I want to talk about my mom and there's also to talk about my youngest brother. But I do believe, I think I'll start with my youngest brother. I think that will be a bit more good to share. And thank you so much to Mr. Rashidi from Kendana and Futurise for this session. Very impactful, very fruitful. I've never been to such event like this, and it gives me some thoughts and ideas about how I feel, because in 2015, yeah, 2015, after my mom passed away, about a few months after that, my youngest brother had a very bad stroke, and he was, I think like his brain was fully dark, when we look at the x-rays and all that, he can just speak and he hardly can move, yeah. And he has a daughter and a wife, and the wife is not working, right? So after he got discharged from the hospital, it was just I think like anyone else here too. We just did not know what to do. I mean, how are we going to help our sister-in-law? How are we going to help her? I mean, we need to support her, give her the moral, because she's going to be there. She's not working. It's going to be financially in a very difficult situation. And the doctor is just in her standard 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it's kind of sad, but she has to face that, my sister-in-law, and she just do not know who she wants to reach to. And of course, like us, like the in-laws, we are there, yes, to support her. But how far can we support her? At that time, I do not know there's Teman Malaysia. And I do not know there's senior Aloud. Now I know there's Teman Malaysia. Now I know there's someone like Alif. And of course, UPM, I know there's my agent. I did try to I want to get to know my agent. The reason why I want to get into my aging is because I have this program that we would like to invite people. That's part of it. But anyway, coming back to my sister-in-law, she's totally lost. Well, not only she's not able to have a real support from the side of the family, we were there for her. We expected of what, how we're going to go, but we brothers and sisters, we sit down, but we do not know, there's someone there that we can reach out and say, hey, how do you go about this and all that, and maybe she can be a friend to maybe senior Aloud, or reach out to either caregivers like Teman Malaysia or something like that. We do not know, but now, yeah. So she had a very hard time, and I do believe that she's very, very depressed. We were always there to support her, financially as well as, morally, because she always has problems with my brother, who's a bit aggressive sometimes, but not able to express himself, what he wants, as what the doctor said, that we are not in his brain. That's the reason why we do not know what exactly that is trying to tell us, how he wants to describe it. And we took to a point where, we teach him how to write, if he can write, because, because I think the stroke was on his left side, so kind of affect the right side of the brain. So what happened was, we all family came together, and we have to make sure that, our sister-in-law get the best support from us. But what I want to say here is that I do not know whether this has been done or not, Didi or Ezzati. We have, the mosque, the surah, and whatnot. If you can advertise your work, your association, that maybe people who need this kind of help, assistance, they they know that, oh, you know, there's someone here that you can reach out. Maybe something like that. I know, I just want to make sure, because I just cannot hold microphone. It's either I karaoke or I start or you start. Alright, so that's for me. If I want to say about what Cik Rashidi has said earlier about, you know, sometimes some families, they have like 7 children, 8 children, 12 children, but they cannot take care of their parents. But I do remember when we were young, my parents will always send us to balik kampung. This is when, Didi, we have to remember the kampung system has to come back. Yes, they can get the, at that point of time, we don't understand why is our parents keep on sending us balik kampung. Go and sit with your parents now, you know. Maybe the grandparents has something that they want to tell their grandkids, you know. We have to look at them, how to take care of them. And also the other thing that we have to remember, come back to the rumput tetangga, maybe that kind of system. It's back to the kampung if you really want it to be that way, because I can see that in this room itself, we are all very, very intimate and passionate about taking care of not only our parents, but to all those unfortunates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie, for sharing. Wow, I also now begin to understand why my parents should be back to kampung. You know, like I was heading to the door. No, yeah. So thank you to all of you who comes here today, partly to listen to our esteemed panel. I learned a lot from our today, especially our panels and some of your insights. At the end of the day, we believe this is the beginning with Futurise, looking at sandbox and so forth. Of course, your chairman, Dr. Alif, has a bigger view in terms of talking about the silver economy. It's worth 4.56 trillion, whatever the number is, you know. But actually, at the end of the day, we start small, right? I think we start small. This is where we start. I think we hear enough from everyone out here or in this group. And then you heard that there are already solutions in place, right? There are solutions in place. I do not believe these people say they are asking for money anyway. You know, they are doing it out of their love and passions for them. But having said all that, I would like to take something to thank my esteemed panel, Alif. Sebenarnya Alif Shukri, Alif Nazim, now another Alif, thank you very much for Alif and Dr. Nazim as well, Lily and Ezzati for taking time and for seeing us with this. I've seen most of you in the crowds, familiar faces. Some are hearing this for the first time, and this is what I like actually, for simple reason that this is not the usual crowd. I mean, the usual crowd, after 20 minutes, they already playing their WhatsApp, text, and like, you know. But these are different set of crowds where Futurise, when you do this, you need to reach out to this kind of crowds. You call the usual suspect. Everybody knows what's the question and answer. This is great. This is great to me, and so forth. So, once again, Cik Rosehaizad, former CEO of Futurise, he has just left, but he actually initiated this. You know, so he came and we had the discussion before we left. Let's do something about it. Without further ado, I give this session back to Lisa and to wrap it up.
Alright, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please give them another round of applause.